नारायणं पद्मभुवं वसिष्ठं शक्तिं च तत्पुत्रपराशरं च व्यासं शुकं गौडपदं महान्तं गोविन्दयोगीन्द्रमथास्य शिष्यं श्रीशङ्कराचार्यमथास्य पद्मपादं च हस्तमलकं च शिष्यं तन्तोटकं वार्तिककारमन्यान् अस्मद्गुरून् सन्ततमानतोऽस्मि। श्लोक 51 अध्याय 2। कर्मजं बुद्धियुक्ता हि फलं त्यक्त्वा मनीषिणः जन्मबन्धविनिर्मुक्ताः पदं गच्छन्त्यनामयम्। We will continue the bhashya. अथवा बुद्धियोगाद् धनञ्जय इत्यारभ्य परमार्थदर्शनलक्षणा एव सर्वतः सम्प्लुतोदकस्थानीया कर्मयोगज सत्त्वशुद्धिजनिता बुद्धिर्दर्शिता साक्षात् सुकृतदुष्कृत प्रहाणादि हेतुत्वश्रवणात्। So, starting from 49 up to 51, in these three shlokas, we find the word buddhi, buddhi yoga, buddhaush. In 49, buddhi is there twice, buddhi yoga dhananjaya and buddhau sharanamanvichha. And then 50, buddhi yukto jahatiha ubhe sukrita dushkrite. And in 51 again, buddhi yuktahi. In these three shlokas, what is meant by buddhi, what Bhagavan is referring to by the word buddhi, is not clearly mentioned by Bhagavan himself. He uses the word buddhi. Bhashyakara so far interpreted the word buddhi as samatva buddhi, which is a part of karma yoga, an indispensable component of karma yoga, samatva buddhi, the attitude of a karma yogi. That is how Bhashyakara interpreted buddhi in all the three verses. Now, Bhashyakara says, even another interpretation of the word buddhi holds good in these three verses. What is that? You take buddhi as a jnana, as atma jnana. Even then, these three verses can be interpreted properly. So with this meaning, we will see 49, 50 and 51. See, in 49, दूरेण ह्यवरं कर्म बुद्धियोगात् धनञ्जय बुद्धौ शरणमन्विच्छ कृपणाः फलहेतवः। हे धनंजय, ओ धनंजय, बुद्धियोगात् should be understood as jnana yogat. Jnana, compared to jnana, karma is inferior. Durena avaram, karma is inferior. This is a new interpretation. What was the previous interpretation? Yeah, compared to buddhi yoga, means compared to performing karma as karma yoga, sakama karma is inferior. That was the previous interpretation. Now the interpretation is compared to jnana, karma is inferior. Therefore, buddhau sharanamanvichha, therefore seek jnana. Take refuge in at jnana, means seek atma jnana. If you are ready for the pursuit of jnana, go for jnana directly. If you are not ready, perform karma as karma yoga so that you will become ready for jnana. Either way, do not perform karma as sakama karma, because sakama karma will lead to samsara. Therefore, kripanaha phalahetavaha, those who perform sakama karma, they continue to be in samsara. Therefore, they are kripanaha, lowly, helpless. Then verse 50, shloka 50, बुद्धियुक्तो जहातीह उभे सुकृत दुष्कृते तस्माद्योगाय युज्यस्व योगः कर्मसु कौशलम. There also buddhiyuktaha will mean jnanayuktaha, one who has atma jnana. He becomes free from punya and papa. Buddhiyuktaha means jnanayuktaha, a jnani. Ubhe sukrata dushkrite jahati, is free from punya as well as papa. Therefore, to attain jnana, one should have preparation, one should have readiness, and to attain the readiness, perform karma yoga. Tasmad yogaya yujyasva. Therefore, perform karma yoga, because karma yoga will ultimately lead to jnana. Yoga karmasu kaushalam. Yoga is karma yoga. Yoga is karma yoga only. The attitude of a karma yogi. Siddhya siddhyo samatvam. Yogaha karmasu kaushalam. It is the special skill in performing yoga which converts binding karma into liberating karma. And 51. Karmajam buddhiyukta hi phalam tyaktva manishinaha. Here also, buddhiyuktaha means jnanayuktaha, jnaninaha, the jnanis. Karmajam phalam tyaktva. So, buddhiyuktaha manishinaha, the jnanis who have atma jnana. Karmajam phalam tyaktva, they become free from karma phala. And then janma bandha vinirmuktaha, they become free from janma bandha, free from samsara. And anamayam padam gacchanti, even after death they are free from samsara. So this is another interpretation that Bhashyakara suggests. Athava, see the Bhashya, Athava, or else. So whenever there is Athava, we have to understand that Bhashyakara is giving another possible interpretation. So does it mean that we can interpret the shlokas as we like? It is not so. We cannot interpret the shlokas as we like. Many people, they learn a little Bhagavad Gita, they read some book, and then they start interpreting also as they like. So we should be careful about such interpretations. That is why Shankaracharya says, Asampradayavin murkhavadupekshaniyah. An asampradayavit, one who does not know the sampradaya, one who does not know the traditional way of interpreting the Shastra, he should be avoided. So there are certain ways of interpreting. When we interpret a shloka, it should not contradict with the main purport of the text altogether. It should be in resonance with the main purport of the main vision of the teaching, of the traditional understanding of the Shastra. Then we have 2 or 3 or more ways of interpretation. So that is why we study the Bhashya, so that we know how to understand the Shastra. When we study Shankara Bhashya, we understand how we have to understand Bhagavad Gita and Upanishad. So, if someone has gone through the Bhashya properly, then in addition to the interpretations of the Bhashya, he can give some more interpretations also, which does not contradict the main vision of the Bhashya. Then is fine. If you look at other acharyas like Madhusudana Saraswati or Vidyaranya or anybody, sometimes they give their own interpretation of the same verses. But even that interpretation is in harmony with the traditional vision, the main vision of the Shastras. So, athava, or else, Buddhi Yoga Dhananjaya ityarabhya, starting from Buddhi Yoga Dhananjaya, starting from that line, Paramartha Darshana Lakshana eva sarvatah samplutodakasthaniya karmayogaja sattva shuddhi janita buddhir darshita. By the word buddhi, what is shown? Paramartha Darshana Lakshana eva buddhi. The buddhi in the form of Paramartha Darshanam. Buddhi, which is nothing but Paramartha Darshanam, Jnanam of Brahman, Paramartha, the knowledge of the Absolute. And it is Sarvatas Samplutodakasthaniya. It is compared to Sarvatas Samplutodakam in Another verse. Which shloka is it? Yeah, 46. Yavanartha udapani sarvatah sampratodake. Jnana is compared to sarvatah sampratodaka. Karmayogaja sattvashuddhi janita buddhihi. And the buddhi, jnana, is a result of sattva shuddhi. And to get sattva shuddhi, one should go through karma yoga. That is how the description of jnana fits this context. This is a context of karma yoga. Now, what is under discussion? Karma yoga. When karma yoga is discussed, what is the relevance of talking about jnana? Jnana is relevant because the goal of a karma yogi is jnana. Therefore, Krishna says, if you perform karma yoga, you will finally get jnana, which will lead to moksha. Therefore, perform karma yoga. That is the purport of these verses. Buddhi darshita karma yoga ja sattva shuddhi janita buddhihi. The buddhi which is born of sattva shuddhi through karma yoga is shown. Now, what is the indication in the shloka which favors this interpretation? Is there any indication in the shloka which favors this interpretation? Then Bhashyakara says, yes, there is an indication in the shlokas that favor this second interpretation. What is it? Sakshat sukrita dushkrita prahanadi hetutva shravanat. If you look at the shlokas, especially shloka 50 and 51, mainly 50, buddhi yukto jahatiha ubhe sukrita dushkrite. Buddhi yuktaha ubhe sukrita dushkrite jahati. One who has buddhi gives up both sukrita and dushkrita. One who has buddhi is free from both sukrita and dushkrita, both punya and papa. Now see, this line, if we take buddhi is equal to karma, samatva buddhi, if we take buddhi as samatva buddhi, then we cannot interpret this statement directly. Buddhi yuktaha, samatva buddhi yuktaha, sattva shuddhi jnana prapti kramena. What does he say? Sattva shuddhi jnana prapti dvarena. He had to supply there. An intermediate step had to be supplied. Through sattva shuddhi jnana prapti, he becomes free from sukrita dushkrita. So, if we take the buddhi as karma yoga buddhi, then we have to supply an intermediate process, not directly. But if we take buddhi to mean jnana, then this in between need not be supplied. Buddhi yuktaha, jnana yuktaha, ubhe sukrita dushkrite jahati. because it is direct. One who has jnana, he is free from punya and papa. You don't need anything in between. Therefore, the second interpretation is favored by this line. That is why Bhashyakara says, Sakshat Sukrita Dushkrita Prahanadi Hetutva Shavanat. So, Sakshat Sukrita Dushkrita Prahana is told. The jnana leads to freedom from Sukrita and Dushkrita directly. That is mentioned. Therefore, the second interpretation is more favored by the shlokas than the first interpretation. Yada te mohakalilam buddhirvyatitarishyati tada gantasi nirvedam shrotavyasya shrutasya cha. So, in this verse and the following verse, Bhagavan is concluding the topic of Karma Yoga by talking about the stages through which a Karma Yogi becomes Jnani and abides in Jnana. Yada te buddhihi, yada, when, te buddhihi, your buddhi. Here buddhi means antahkaranam. Buddhi does not mean Sankhya buddhi or Yoga buddhi here. Here buddhi refers to antahkaranam. Your antahkaranam, your mind. Moha kalilam vyatitarishyati. Moha. Moha means aviveka. Lack of discrimination is moha. Absence of understanding of what is permanent and what is impermanent is moha. What will really give me happiness and what will not give me happiness is moha. Most often, people think that the world is promising. The world will give permanent happiness. It is an orientation. In spite of saying a few times, it does not go easily. The aviveka. The world will give me happiness. My relatives will give me happiness. When I say happiness, a permanent happiness. Wealth will give me happiness. Name and fame will give me happiness. This is moha. Aviveka. Because the world itself is not permanent. How can it give permanent happiness? So it is a very strong orientation that we human beings have built over the ages. That is why it is not easy to get rid of the aviveka. It has to be reminded again and again and again to ourselves. Let me not seek happiness in the world. Let me not seek anything permanent in the impermanent world. This has to be driven home to our own mind by constantly reminding ourselves of the temporariness of every object that we get interested in. So that is moha. And one who has moha is a mudha. Mudhamati. The mati is mudha. The mind is generally mudha. It has moha. So moha kalilam. Moha is a kalila, impurity of the mind. Moha rupa kalila. Moha is impurity. Vyatitarishyati. The buddhi transcends moha. The buddhi crosses over moha. Means it becomes free from moha, free from aviveka, as a result of karma yoga. The aviveka slowly reduces. Then viveka, vairagya, everything dawns in the mind. When the cloud of moha is dispelled, all the qualities that are desirable in a student of Vedanta, they dawn in the mind, they manifest in the mind. Viveka, vairagya, everything manifests in the mind. Therefore, Bhagavan says, Tada, then tvam shrotavyasya shrutasya cha nirvedam gantasi. Tvam, you, shrotavyasya shrutasya cha nirvedam gantasi. Nirvedam means vairagya. Nirveda means vairagya. You get vairagya. You will get vairagya then. Gantasi. Future tense. then you will get Vairagya. Lut Lakara, Gantasi. Vairagya from what? Shrotavya and Shruta. Shruta means the objects that you have already heard about is Shruta. There is a particular type of electronic gadget you already know. The new model of Apple iPhone. What is the model? I don't know the number and specifications. You can find out. So for me it is Shrotavya. For you, for some of you it may be Shruta. So Shruta means what you already know, you have already heard of. And Shrotavya means what you have not heard of yet. It will come later on in future. The models that will come after 2 years is a Shrotavya. Some people get Vairagya from Shruta. I don't want any of the present models. But if any future model comes, I will take. That Vairagya is not enough. So Shrotavya and Shruta. I don't want anything that I already know, and I don't want anything that I will be knowing also other than Brahman. This Vairagya is Shrotavyasya Shrutasya cha Nirvedam Gantasi. You will get Vairagya with respect to Shrotavya as well as Shruta. Means all objects, all that seem to be the source of happiness in this world. He is not interested in them because he knows their temporary nature. And he also knows that they are distracting they will distract him in the pursuit of moksha. Therefore, he is ready to say a no to them. The ability to say no to anything that will distract one from the pursuit of moksha is Vairagya. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.